questions can I answer?
I guess before you go to Kansas, that's Ohio State. How do you think the freshmen in the secondary did? I know there were obviously some big plays, but just overall, how they handled it and maybe reading their keys and stuff.
Well, it wasn't exactly what we wanted. Obviously, having some balls thrown over the top of us, things of that nature. But you guys got some good game experience, and if you were able to go back and look at the entire game and go through the video like we were able to, I think you'll see there are a lot of good things that came from it. Guys, did a lot of good things fundamentally and made some good tackles and things in the open field. So there's some positive to pull from it. Obviously, it's a pretty tough first assignment. So hopefully we're going to improve and learn from our mistakes and move on from there.
As you look into week three, what are the types of improvements that you hope that the defense makes?
We had too many mental errors at Ohio State. We need to reduce those in a big way. And their tempo and some of the ways they lined up in formations and so forth had something to do with that. We just didn't react as well as we needed to. Some of that probably has to do with guys that are not used to playing with one another with some of the changes that we had. But our job is to line up and get ready to play and to know what our job is. And we weren't consistent enough, so that would be the first thing on the list for me.
How have you been adjusting things? Have you been adjusting things with Les's situation? How are you going with it, knowing that it's a week-to-week thing?
Well, all you can do is plan according to the guys that you know are available to you now. I'm assuming you're talking about some of the injuries that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So, we just got to prepare the plan for the guys that we know are available. Then hopefully we get some of the others back, and if they are, then we adjust as we go. It's real early in the week. We've just been looking at KU film a little bit last night and then this morning. So we're just kind of on the front end of the game plan. We got a ways to go before we're able to solidify even first and second down stuff. So we'll know more about that once we get into the evening and have a lot of that behind us.
What kind of challenges does Kansas present for your defense, Jim?
Well, they're pretty similar offensively to the first two teams in a lot of ways, and then not so much in others, I guess. They have big line splits. At least they've shown to have big line splits up front. They have big offensive linemen. They're big, strong guys. In my opinion, they have good skill offensively. A couple running backs and several wide receivers that I think are pretty dynamic with the ball. And I'm not sure, how other people look at it, but when I turn the film on, I've been impressed with a lot of the skill guys that they have on offense.
I guess one of those guys, Buka Williams, how different did their offense look, I guess, against Central Michigan as opposed to Nicholls State and what's playing?
Just a guy with a little bit different gear back there. He's, like I say, he's dynamic, he's elusive. He makes things happen that schematically shouldn't happen just because of his ability to make people miss and maybe get around a corner or an edge, when it looks like there's an edge set, outrunning a 5 technique or outrunning a secondary support player, sticking it up inside and then bouncing it out or whatever, just things that, normal backs can't sometimes make that play, but he does just because of his ability to run and cut, do the things that he can do, change of direction. So he's a very good player.
The Kansas quarterback, what do you see in him? Threw for 300 yards last week. Looked pretty good, at least on paper, but what do you see on film?
Yeah, he's utilizing the tools that he has. The guys that are there for him, they have a very diverse passing game. They do a lot of the same things that we've seen the first couple of weeks with a lot of the screen game, the bubble screens, the perimeter screens, getting the ball to the backs, but they also have the ability to throw the football down the field. And, like any offense, I guess, as their pass game goes, it's kind of relative to how well they're running the ball, too. And they've been able to run the ball some pretty significantly and successfully in these first two games. So, obviously, that opens up the pass game a little bit more. So, we have to do a good job of trying to make them one-dimensional if we can, and, that'd be a challenge.
I know you said that they use the screen game, short pass. I think they've given up 7 sacks. So I guess, where is that kind of pressure coming from? This is a big game for you guys. I know you've had success with stunts and movement and such, but maybe you get more of a push from the front four.
Yeah, we have to look at that. You know, again, those different sacks come from two different teams for various reasons. You know, Nicholls State had a different approach than Central Michigan with regards to just how they operate philosophically on defense. So we have to look at those two games and see whether or not some of those things correlate to what we do, and then make a decision as to whether, you know, we want to incorporate, you know, some of those ideas and things like that, but they have to fit in obviously to our system. So, you know, we generated good pass rush. The first game, it was sporadic. The second game at Ohio State, and you know, that's just going to be an ongoing thing. As you guys know, a year ago our sack totals weren't what we wanted. The pressure on the quarterback wasn't what we wanted. So every week that's going to be something that we want to look at and try to put the best plan together, give our guys a chance to get you know, get the quarterback out of rhythm.
I guess philosophically, and I haven't asked yet, are you a sack guy, or are you more hurries and pressures? It all kind of adds up, or are you someone that believes you have to get sacks, I guess, to have an impact on the quarterback?
No, I don't. I don't think you have to. Obviously, everybody'd love to see that, but you know, anything that you can do to force in completions, you know, really it's about getting yourself off the field, you know, when third down rolls around, and just not letting the quarterback get comfortable from a rhythm and timing standpoint. So sometimes that's just getting him off his set point. Sometimes it's getting the hand up and knocking down a ball. Sometimes it might be going ahead and, you know, being able to get a sack and put him on the ground. Other times it's just making sure that you got good condensed rush lanes so that there aren't easy throwing lanes for him to find receivers in. It's a combination really of all those things that come into play with regards to, you know, having pressure up front, and then obviously the coverage on the back end has to be tight enough to allow that pressure time to land.
Trevor Morris looked like a bright spot at Ohio State. Is he playing at a high level right now?
I thought he played real well. He's very active, got around the football a lot, had the early sack, played well for 2 games, and I'm anxious for him to continue along those lines. I'm really happy with Trevor.
Anything else?
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.